So the Chazon Ish is telling us that the Baalei Musar, the people, the sages that taught Musar, wanted to get our attention by telling us that this character trait development is a separate teaching of its own, but he says the truth is that the traits are not really a separate reality. Rather, the foundation for everything is the same. It's all part of the same foundation, but it was necessary to break off the teachings of Musar that are about character trait development in order for it to be more effective. Why? Because the foundation of every man is made up of two things: body and soul. You have the physical needs that are the motivation of a person, and then you have the intelligent soul. The physical needs many times are the opposite of what the intelligent soul wants. And the way for a person to develop their character traits and succeed means that they have to overcome these bodily desires and make the intelligent soul the priority. Now, the Chazon Ish is telling us that the fact that they're opposite, the bodily desires are opposite of the intelligent soul, is one of the most important parts of character trait development. And the reason for that is because if a person wants to see where their weaknesses are, but they don't have, let's say, a one-on-one teacher, they don't necessarily have teachings like this that are spoon-feeding it to them and telling them exactly what to do, Hashem even gave them nature within themselves to identify their weaknesses. And that is simply look at what you lust for. If you lust after certain things, especially if it's beyond the norm, if you lust after food, you're one of these people that eats all day, you always have to choose something, or you're constantly thinking about intimacy, you're constantly thinking about money making, you're constantly thinking, you're investing a lot of your energy focused on one particular thing, and it's constantly on your mind, even when it's inappropriate for it to be there, then obviously that's a weakness. And it's time for a person to start using their intelligent soul to overcome it. The sages termed this midot. They call this midot, they call this character traits, in order to describe the body's tendencies. Midot are also a word that's measures. And if a person looks at their measures, looks at their midot, they'll see which ones are the weakest, that are literally, there's like Mayday announcements, there's a SOS, you have to fix it, everyone's complaining about it, your wife is complaining about it, your kids are complaining about it, your boss is complaining about it, the customers are complaining about it. This is just something that is constantly a problem. You're lazy, you're arrogant, you're this, you're that. That's the ones that you'll see. Something is causing that. Some type of physical desire is causing that. If a person can identify that, which usually only takes a matter of minutes or seconds even, that physical desire, then they'll have a much easier time to overcome that physical tendency that leads to other character trait flaws. Now, the sages broke down these tendencies into divisions, subdivisions, in order to make it easier to find the tools that are necessary to wage war against each and every single one of these. And as Rabbi Ephraim says, the only solution to overcome these character trait flaws that stem from physical tendencies, physical desires, is by training the intellectual soul how to overcome these desires and also any other possibilities that would come from this. For example, if somebody has a uncontrollable or even not even uncontrollable. Simply, they're an eater. They're one of these people that eats a lot, and they want to overcome it. Now, of course, everyone has seen the videos of some guy that used to eat a lot and he stopped eating, or he replaced the eating with something else, and he's just eating grass every day for 6 months or a year, and he runs around all day as if he has no work and no job and no responsibilities, and somehow he loses 150 pounds. And those are all fancy, fantastic stories. The reality is very different. There was a lot more behind the scenes you didn't see. And even more than that, not everybody can do the same thing. Not everybody can simply dedicate every single one of their waking hours, deciding which version of grass they're going to eat today. And not everybody can do that. But that doesn't mean that a person cannot overcome their addiction to eating. So if a person wants to do that, first and foremost, they have to see, okay, wait, do I have a plan? Do I eat all the time, or do I eat whenever I'm hungry? Once they start thinking about, okay, so I could handle the fact that, I don't necessarily need to eat all the time. I can eat when I'm hungry. And I'm not necessarily hungry all the time. And there are certain things that fill me up better than others. If I eat junk food, if I eat candy and chocolates and so on, those are sweet and tasty and I like it, but it doesn't fill me up. If I order Chinese food, I can eat it for 5 hours straight and still remain hungry. Why? Because it's the same thing like candy. But if I eat, I eat a piece of meat and some bread, or I eat, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or I eat some of these other, sandwiches, some other form of food that fills me up, then I won't necessarily be craving for something shortly after. So automatically a person can see that, again, it's not even necessarily that you need to eat that much. It's that sometimes the food that you eat is what leads you to eat more and more. Secondly, it's also a decision that a person has, that the intellectual soul has to overcome the physical desire by simply deciding that I'm only going to eat when I'm hungry, not when I simply want to eat. And I'm not hungry all the time. So that means that automatically a person can, remove at least 50%, if not 90% of the amount of times that they eat all day. They don't have to look like a cow chewing its cud all day. Why? Because I'm not hungry all day. The other aspect is that they have to also consider, how does the food affect them? How does the food affect them? There's certain foods that make them tired, certain foods that don't necessarily make them tired, certain foods that even energize them, and so on and so forth. Many times you'll see that some of the Torah scholars that were very particular about their time, many times you see them eating the same thing for 50 years in a row. One famous dish, if you will, that is well known is the dish that Rav Kaduri, alav shalom, used to eat bamba. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He would eat bamba. Now bamba, for anyone who doesn't know, if you're not Israeli and you're not familiar with bamba, bamba is a snack. It's a peanut butter snack, like peanuts, puffed peanuts, but it's really corn. Long story short, it's something that is was good for his stomach, was good for his to be satiated from, and that's what he would eat. Bamba. Now again, you may choose to eat other foods. Why did he choose that? The same thing like Rav Steinemann. Rav Steinemann would eat a potato. That's it. Potato. No meat, no chicken, no sauce, no nothing. Potato. Why? Because I eat, because I'm hungry, and this food satiates me. That's it. I don't have to worry about the other things. Now again, I'm not telling everybody this is for everybody. I'm not recommending for you to start eating only potato for the rest of your life, or even just steak for the rest of your life. Many people simply cannot handle that. But the point being is that when a person decides that they're going to eat for the sake of satiating their hunger and not their desire, automatically that removes a lot of the extra that a person has. Let me know what you think, and make sure to share it, because other people need to learn too.